we're doing the show as a way to just like deliver as much value as we possibly can to all of you guys, like anything entrepreneurship, personal development, strategy, all of that good stuff. And just a lot has happened for us lately that we want to share and that we want to tell you guys about. And then we want to like hear your questions and answer your questions and do what we can to help you. So like the majority of this is going to be Q&A. Majority of this is going to be just like, yeah, what's going on for you that we can help with. So think about what that is, what your questions are, and we're going to have some prizes. We're going to have prizes. Is that right? Yeah, we have prizes.
Sure, we're going to figure that out. We got prizes.
Yeah, totally prizes. So after we're done, we're going to sit down, Beth and Bryson and myself, we're going to sit down and we're going to discuss all of you guys and be like, who had a good question? And like, remember that person? That was a lame. No, we're not going to do that. No, we're going to be nice. We appreciate all questions and there are no dumb questions. If it's a question you have, it's a good question.
We should give a prize for like the most vulnerable question.
Oh,
like
that's a good idea. Yeah.
The most like vulnerable.
I love that. Yeah, we totally should. I love that idea. Yeah. The most sort of real thing. Because here's the thing, right? Like I've been doing literally this business since 2009. Anyone do math? How many years is that? Like 13 years I've been doing Simplero, basically, like the software company. It wasn't always called Simplero, but that's how long I've been doing that. I started making software probably in 1982. I started making money from software at age 8, something along those lines. So I've been in the software business, if you will, for a fair bit of time, right? Like for like, what is that, 40 years or something? The one thing that I've learned more than anything when it comes to business is the fundamentals are the most important. And those are the things that everybody skips. Everybody skips like the very, very, very simple basic things. And they want to run to all the so just keep that in mind with your questions, like asking even the most basic questions are like hugely valuable, not just for you, but for everybody else who gets to hear not only the answer, but even to hear you asking the question. And we were just discussing this morning, Beth and I, how knowing the question to ask is like 90% of the job, right? And it's totally cool too. Like I find that happens for me all the time, that I don't know what the hell the question is. So I have to talk my way into the question, right? That's totally fine too. Like, because that discovery process of like, what is really the problem here? What is really the question that I have is that's a process, it's work. So like, don't hold yourselves back with any of the questions. So, yeah. But before we get into the Q&A, before we get to that, we wanted to talk, what did we want to talk about, Beth?
We wanted to talk about that whole thing that we got to recently around not judging ourselves, not like feeling like, okay, the software is not good enough. Our marketing hasn't been good enough. You know, we don't always hire exactly the right person at the right time, like kind of coming out of that judgment piece.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially for me. So I have one of my blind spots or my Achilles heel or something is just low self-worth. Like really feeling like extremely low self-worth. I used to have this feeling that I was so unworthy, I shouldn't be breathing the air because it was stealing it from other people who were more worthy. Like I shouldn't take up any space. I should basically not exist because like I'm infringing on other people's space and they're all more worthy than me. It was like really deep. And that pattern's gotten a lot better, but that pattern, there's still that thing in my psyche. And it's definitely one of the things that's held me back from doing more to market Simplero as well as market myself and just show up in this way and be out there in the public and also just, you know, let the world know about the product that I've built. And so it's something that I've been very conscious of lately, because I want to change that, right? I want more people to know this product. I keep hearing from people. We have this NPS survey. I don't know if you guys see that or have seen it, but where it's like at the bottom of your screen, it'll be like, how likely are you to recommend Simplero to a friend or a colleague or something, if scaled from 0 to 10. And I get the emails every time someone submits one of those with some additional feedback. I get that email, and it's humbling. Like people are just loving like the product and the service and everything else. And here I'm going, like, it's so healing, nurturing for me to see that, because like here I'm going around feeling like seeing everything that I think is wrong with the product, everything that I think is not good enough about the product. And it's like, and I can obsess over that. And I have high standards, and I'm like really visionary. I'm really good at seeing where I want it to go and what it could be. But, like that also tends to make me shit on what I've already done. So I started working with a hypnotherapist a couple months ago, and I've never done that before. It's kind of a cool process. And one of the things he has me do is do this self-hypnosis thing. So it's like, close your eyes, taking a deep breath, visualizing colored lights like flowing through my body, top to toe. And then I count myself down, like 10, I'm going deeper and deeper. 9, I'm going deeper and deeper, like counting down to 1. And then I say, and then another colored light thing. And then I say this phrase 3 times. I say, I'm safe, I'm calm, I choose to be here. I'm safe, I'm calm, I choose to be here. I'm safe, I'm calm, I choose to be here. So that's all, and then call it light again. So that's all kind of just to get into that state. And then there's the suggestion, the statement that I repeat 21 times, either out loud or internally. And that, like, I've done different ones over time. The one I'm doing right now, I'll share just for inspiration. It is, every day in every way, I choose to cherish and be proud of who I've become and what I've created. Every day in every way, I choose to cherish and be proud of who I've become and what I've created. And I feel it now. Like it feels really good. And like honoring myself, the work I've put in to grow and be who I am, and all the work I've put in to create this product, this company. And like I can still have dreams and visions of like what else it could become and what else I could become and what I want to create, but you're just really cherishing and be proud. Being proud of something for me that's like very meaningful. I don't like, it's always been a word that's connected with me. I remember some years ago, it's got to be like I think in 18, right? I think that was right when Beth started, right? Like your start was you were covering for everybody while the rest of us went to Sicily and Italy on a trip. And we had a moment in the garden, and Deanna was on me in the most loving way for like you should be more proud of what you've built. Like it's really amazing. And I wouldn't have it. Like I wasn't ready. It was like too much resistance still. So I'm actually like I'm very proud of how far I've come with that. And I'm very happy with that process. Yeah, I wanted to share that because to me, like those, if that unconscious, unhelpful belief gets to run the thing, right? Run the business, run the company, run my life. Like I'm not going to get anywhere. So addressing those root, beliefs, issues that's where you get the real leverage, right? Because then everything else around it falls into place. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that piece about, I think a lot of times people show up and they want tactics because they want to be told what to do, or they want to know, they're unsure about what the thing is that they should do next. So like, what's the strategy I need? What's the tactic I need? And that stuff is great. Right. But like the mindset piece is foundational. So yeah. These are such great comments in the chat, Calvin. You should read some of these. Thank you so much, everyone.
That's so sweet. Thank you. Yeah.
And yeah, you should totally borrow that exercise, Laura. It's a good one.
Totally. Yeah, that's why I shared it, right? Like this is literally a script. Then you just come up with come up with a suggestion that really speaks to where you're at, and like steal this format and adjust it and whatever it is. I think the first one I did was every day in every way I show up as a trusted, effective leader, something something. Honoring my needs and boundaries, I think was the second part of that, because that's too is like, so a theme for me has been on leadership. One of the big things that I realized was that, again, on an unconscious level, I had never fully chosen to be the leader of this company. I think it was like that part of me that was like the programmer. I got really good at programming because I was scared of people. I didn't, like bullied in school, kind of bullied at home, didn't feel safe anywhere. And so being at the computer and got really good at programming very early. That was my, like, here's a universe that I can control. Right? It's my little private space, and this computer is my slave, and I'll make it do whatever. Like, it doesn't talk back to me, and it doesn't say mean and nasty stuff that makes me feel shit, right? Like, so, and I carried that with me for a long time. I really did. And so I think part of that was like, I really want to, like, I still sort of in that, in school as well, we had a library. And that was where I would escape to when there's some bigger guys in school that would literally chase me. Like if they saw me somewhere, they would stop me and like beat me. Or, during winter, they saw me outside, they would like put snow all over inside my clothes. And like, it was like, great, like stay indoors during winter, or at least when it's snowing. And so there was this library where I'd go, and they had these pillows, and I would lie in there and read books and hide. And so the whole like computer, books, all of that, like that became sort of my private universe, my private den. And so you can see how that too makes me not go out there in public and share, my knowledge, my insights, my wisdoms, my value, my product, what I've created, all that, right? So those were things that I had to overcome, and like part of that was like not wanting to be the leader. I'm like, just let me be in my little den here in the library with my computer and my books, and like all these people don't bother me, but somebody needs to lead the company. And so I would try to hire people to do that leading for me, like some really expensive people too. And somehow they wouldn't do a good job, right? Because you can't do that job, right? You can't lead a company where the leader is kind of like absent or half in, half out. And so no wonder that didn't work so well. And so, yeah, realizing that, which again was linked to my birth trauma of being born strangled in my own umbilical cord and then put in an incubator for 2 days, like that was part of what got me into that sort of half in, half out pattern. And so doing all the work to unravel that has been just major unlock. And so if you guys have noticed how things have changed around here in the past month or 2 months, like this literally happened, like the major, like sort of final big piece of that happened May 1st. So it's that recent. And since then, it's just been like full speed ahead. And then the next thing that happened was that my product manager, Ben, who'd been here for about a year, decided to move on, which at first I'm like, shit. But then I realized, oh no, like that's like literally the next day, or I was like, this is amazing, because I need to be that product manager, right? I'm the one that built this product, that knows the world, the domain, the universe, that I built it because I needed it myself. Like, and I've been doing software my entire life. Like I need to be the one that really leads this. So there was a whole piece of learning to lead effectively with other people, because I'd hire people and then give them too much responsibility, too much authority that they weren't dressed for, and then the results weren't there, and then I get frustrated, and then I don't want to overstep and micromanage, and these people have to make their own mistakes and all that. But like, it was suffering. Or the results suffered from it. So, yeah. Laura, Laura, you have a question. Let's bring Laura on. Yeah, you're on.
Oh, I'm just gonna chew my supper. I didn't
That's
know
all
I
right.
was on.
I'm having food as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just asked a question in the chat, but I actually have another question I think is more important for
Yeah.
me. So this timing is beautiful because I just talked to my coach today about one of my issues, which is a lot of anxiety and fear around money and that whole lack mentality and the cash flow. And I was wondering if you wanted to share your strategies in that, because for me, it's a lot that my worth is tied to results.
Yeah.
And if I don't achieve results, then I feel that sense of low self-worth.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, so where is that coming from?
This is becoming quite vulnerable here, but I believe it's tied to the values in my family.
What was the conversation that you would hear around that?
Just emphasizing the people that achieve results as though they are something special.
Right. Yeah.
So I internalize that as,
right.
If I don't achieve that, then my whole nervous system freaks out.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I'm with you 100%. Like both my parents are the same way. I remember at my, actually at my first wedding, my mom were seated at a table where like she'd go around the table, because my mom was like this way, and she was like, every single person, like, this person, and this is what they've achieved, and this is blah blah, and they're very successful, and this person, and she got to my best friend Ulf, who is and then she's like, and Ulf, he's just Ulf. And at that point, he was going through this crisis in his career, and his wife's family was actually supporting him, and he was changing from like biology to technology, and wasn't making money, and he felt devastated. He's like, oh my God, I haven't achieved anything, I'm worthless. You could also choose to hear it like the opposite way, right? Like, I mean, I don't need to say what he's achieved because he's just amazing the way he is, but that's not how he heard it. I'm not sure. My mom is definitely like, well, you're very successful, like, or he's like, that's totally her focus as well. So I get it. I think that the powerful thing that I like to do in a situation like that is to relate to my inner boy and, you know, your inner girl. And so think of it that way, as like, whenever you have those thoughts, you're giving that message to her, right? To like 4-year-old Laura, or however old she is. And is that how I want to talk to her, right? My kid, like, and really picturing that and really feeling that. And then like, I'm assuming the answer is no, but what do you want to say instead? And just be like, hey, I'm so sorry that you even ever heard anyone talk this way. This is not how I think of, like, you're extremely valuable to me. I love you so much. Like, you are perfect just the way you are. And money has nothing to do with your worth. And just have that conversation with her and see what she does. Yeah. For me, that, like, once you put it in that perspective, like, one is, it's not like me, but that little boy that lives inside of me, like, it completely changes how I look at it. It's, I can't keep beating that guy up once I become aware of that. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I think I'm a little bit nervous of being live, so I'm not sure it's coming fully in.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll listen to the recording. Yeah. I mean, I do a lot of the internal work, daily practice. So I'm definitely, and I talk to her a lot. I'm just wondering, like, I keep on looking for external strategies, like, as Beth mentioned, tactics to not get into the situation of not having the money, because it's like, it's a very bodily reaction. So I feel maybe I also need to do some, it's very down in my body, like it starts panicking and I have to like step away from the computer and do something else when that starts happening.
The other thing to do there is go the opposite way. Just go fully into that feeling and embrace it, right? Just like, well, how amazing it is that we have the capacity to feel those feelings, and yeah, just like, don't try to avoid it at all, but just welcome it. And just like, how amazing I get to experience that, right?
Full-blown panic.
Right, yeah. Well, but it's not going to be panic if you breathe, right? If you breathe and you're present with it, there's not going to be panic, right? So make sure you breathe all the way into your belly and just like turn on your curiosity on full force of just like, wow, this is so interesting. And I wonder what happens if I really allow this feeling, if I really let it grow within me. Right?
It's funny.
Oh my God,
it's funny. I'm a yoga teacher, and I have courses on this on Simplero for people. But sometimes you teach what you need to learn, right?
That's how that works. Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
Thanks.
It's amazing. Thank you. Yeah. And then to your question about what you were asking, what kind of therapies and support, like the big thing, and you're lucky because you're in Denmark. But the big thing that I love is body SDS. Have you done that?
No, not specifically.
You've heard of it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I worked with a founder now, Andrew. He used to be Bank, now he's Andrew. So work with him. My wife and I actually like just hire him for full days when we're in Copenhagen. And also his son Stefano is amazing. And his daughters, is great too. They have lots of great people in there. So when I had a month ago, a little over, I was in Canada and I had this mountain bike accident where I crashed on a mountain bike and flew over the handlebars and like got like stitches. Thankfully, nothing broken, but like stitches and whiplash, and my neck was pretty smashed up. So I went from Canada to New York 2 days and then straight to Copenhagen to get body SDS. So I had like probably like 15 sessions or 15 hours, I will say, over about a week to heal all of that. But also, like, while I'm there, let me have as much of it as I can. Had a 4-hour-long session with Stefan. It was amazing. So I would go hard on that. It's really,
I'll look into that.
Yeah, because what's so beautiful about that is like it takes your mind completely out of it and just goes straight to where it is in the body and just releases it. I had like during this last trip, during that 4-hour session I had with Stefano, I got to a place where I could feel all of that anxiety around my birth and was just crying nonstop for an hour, 15 minutes of like just releasing all of that stuff. And it was kind of like, I've had that feeling a couple times before where it's like almost like there's a vacuum that's like just sucking up all of that old repressed feeling that has just been in there my entire life and just letting it all out. So afterwards I was like all mellow and soft and my eyes were like all red from crying for so long and just like lighter and better. And it's life-changing stuff. So anyone who's in Denmark, you gotta go work with these people. It's amazing.
I will.
Yeah. Thank you, Laura. Thank you so much. I'm gonna mute on you again so you can chew in peace. Let's see, who else do we have? Kimberly has something to share. Let's hear. And Beth, feel free to jump in and like.
Okay, so this is really, really weird, but I was wondering if I could, instead of asking a question like this is the most authentic I could be, if I could just make up a song for you all right now, because when I went on Simplero, like there was a video of you playing the piano and I was like, okay, I'm in the right place. Okay, I was not planning on doing this at all.
This is what Kimberly does. This is her thing, is music.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. So I'm basically trying to use Simplero to express myself through my music in a way, because right now I have, there's thousands of people that listen to me all over the world. I have a song I co-wrote that was #2 on the Billboard charts, but
which one is that?
What was that? What's it called?
Oh, it's my turn eating. Yeah, which one is that?
That's okay. It's called The Fire Within. It's a double piano concerto that I made with my friend. So 2 pianos and a symphony. And I love to connect with people, but there's such a disconnect because I just see numbers all day, like, 0.004 cents from someone in Spain from listening to my music on Spotify. So I'm trying to find a way. I feel like my body, like my music is sort of an extension of my body. My piano is like your computer. And so I feel like my body is spread all around the world, and I need to suck it all back up into one place. And so that I can like do things with it. And so help people, you know, learn how to play the piano, how to improvise without being stuck to sheet music, and be able to play by ear and stuff like that. So anyway, okay, I have to just get my piano sound really quick. Hold on one second.
It's amazing.
This project here, anyway, I have it's signed by Warner Brothers, but anyway, I'm not going to play that one. I have to get a piano sound ready. All right, so this is for you, for all of you, and specifically for you, Calvin.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, that was the only time that will ever exist.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you. That I'm just trying to find a way to keep my soul intact as I grow. And that's been the hardest thing, because with other marketing companies and all the stuff, I just feel like I lose my soul in the process. And I feel like with Simplero, I'm going to be able to keep my soul, and because I can feel your soul, Calvin, and that's why. And you too, Beth, as well. So.
Wow. Thank you, Kimberly. That's amazing. Wow. I'm like completely floored. It's so well. Thanks.
Thank you for witnessing it.
It's funny. So one of the things that came out. So I was part of that whole process for me was some work with Andrew, the body SDS guy I just mentioned, in Copenhagen in February. And then I went on like an intensive, they call it with Larry Yatch, who's a former Navy SEAL, who's developed some really cool process around core trauma release. And as part of that, he has a process around identifying someone's calling, which wasn't part of this process, but it just kind of came out during my session. And so I'll read, this is his phrasing of what my calling is. It goes like this, there's 4 statements. I will live, and I'm sharing this because I feel like it relates to what you're saying and what you're trying to do. So for inspiration, I will live in absolute connection through which I am fully received. I will channel God's energy into people's lives by realizing my visions in this world. I will bond my otherworldly spiritual connection with my worldly valuable skills. In this, I can infuse the light and love of God into the physical world that people must interact with. So
That was very powerful.
yeah.
It feels like music is my calling. I mean, there's no, like, it's just been ever since my dad died when I was 5, and playing the piano, like a key on the piano, was the only thing that made me feel like there was like a light beam that was connecting me to him and to love again. And so it's been such a journey. Most people move west to follow their dreams. I packed up my car, moved to Iowa by myself. I don't know anyone. I've been here for 3 months. I woke up at 1 a.m. to have meetings with the concierge service with Simplero. And so anyway, I haven't launched yet. I'm working on it right now, but I'm hoping soon.
Wait, did you say you moved to Iowa?
Yeah. I needed somewhere that I have good internet so that I can do this, somewhere that I can afford it, which I was in Oregon. It was really hard on the West Coast. And just somewhere I can just be.
I'm just trying to connect the being in Iowa and having to get up at 1 a.m. for
because I misunderstood the timing on when I picked out 1 o'clock. It said military time. I didn't think about it. So there I was at 1 a.m. and I did my first session with core. And then I was like, I want to stick with them. So I just kept it. And I kind of liked that it was like in the middle of the night. It just felt sort of like I'm doing it, you know?
I love that. That's amazing. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Likewise. I'm so honored. Nice.
So it looked like you had something in the chat about Ukraine and like the money you're raising. Did you have a question around that you wanted to ask us? Okay, awesome.
All right, well, that's good. Let's hear Sue.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Well, first of all, I just really want to thank you, Calvin. I started with Simplero maybe a year and a half ago, or maybe it's 2 years, I can't remember, in the middle of lockdown. And we've launched AMI, Ayurveda Mother and Infant, and we have some courses online. We have lots more coming online, and really love Simplero and love the help that we've got with concierge. And I'm not a techie person, so they've really helped a lot. And your inspiration, Calvin, I felt just the way somebody else said, it's like, because you connect to the soul, and you have this go for it attitude, and you know, nothing can get in the way, and just be yourself, be authentic, be true. I've wanted to stick to it, even though other members of our group have suggested other places, and I keep coming back to look, no, it's got this, it's got this, it's got this, and it's got this attitude behind it. And it's that attitude that is what holds it together. And whatever we need, I'm sure they can come up with it. So let's just stay with it. So having said that, because we deal with preconception, conception, pregnancy, birth, postpartum, and the first couple of years of a baby's life, we were just so shocked by the Ukraine war and 80,000 pregnant women who didn't have a place to birth and were trying to flee the country, and missiles going over their heads, and having to squat in the bushes to deliver babies and all this. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to do something, and we have raised a bunch of money to set up birthing centers on the border, or in conjunction with another organization that we thought we were partnering with, and we have raised this money only to be unable to communicate with this group. And my daughter is also involved in helping, her partner is also involved in helping Ukraine with supplies, like stretchers and medical supplies and things. So
I love that you're doing that. Yeah, what's the question?
So the question is, now that we found out that this partner organization is just not in contact with us, and we know that there's a lot of corruption, in Ukraine. And we sort of like, we promised these people this money is going to go to these birthing women.
Right.
And they said they had 5 birthing centers on the border with Ukraine. Now what do we do? It was like,
Is it a Ukrainian organization?
No, it was doula organizations. I think you know what a doula is, right? Yeah, doula organizations that had birthing centers on the borders of Ukraine, 5 of them. But I know that Russia.
Exist? Do you know if they actually exist, or did they just say they did?
I don't know. I don't know what has happened. I know that that there were some people. We were getting lots of really good feedback from different organizations.
Right.
But this organization has not responded to us at all after the initial.
Right. Did you send the money? Like they got the money?
We haven't sent it. We have the money. It's in a charity organization, the International Association of Human Values.
Really?
But we're just trying to find a way to
I thought you'd been subject to like a Nigerian scam artist or something. Just taking all your money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
okay, that's good. So you have the money still. Yeah. So like, is there another organization, or can you go down there and make something happen yourself, or like, what are the options here?
well, we're pushing forward with a couple options. There is an organization called the European Doula Network, which has about 17 countries involved with doulas, and there are 2 organizations within that that are in Ukraine, and I have written to them, and I've looked at their websites, I've looked at their Facebook pages, I've looked at their YouTube videos. They seem to be bona fide.
Right.
We also have some people in Ukraine through another organization checking on them to see whether they are bona fide. They are Ukrainians checking on Ukrainians.
Right.
So, but it's just such an awkward position to be in when you've raised this money, you've promised these people something, and now, oh my God, how do we deliver?
Totally. Yeah.
The thing that pops up for me is like, this is a perfect example of how, like in business and life, like you will get thrown curveballs and you have to figure out how to pivot from that. Like you did not expect this, right? Like you built your whole thing on what you thought was a solid foundation, and oh shit, like that foundation just completely fell apart. So, okay. So, but you still have your mission, you still have your goal, you still have resources. It's time to pivot. Like what else can you do?
Well, here is where the fear part comes in, because I read this book recently called Putin's People, How the KGB Took Over Russia and is Taking on the West. And when I read that book, I saw how much corruption there is and how much KGB will stop at nothing. And so all sorts of things go through my head with this sunflower organization. Oh my God, did the KGB find out about them? Are they wiped out because of them? I mean, what about us? And those, just dealing with that in the Ukraine. So,
that's a good. Like whenever that happens, I would totally do. Have you come across Byron Katie?
Yeah.
And the work, right? Like just do the work on it. Like, how do I feel when I think that thought? How would I feel if I couldn't think that thought? Because like those thoughts are not helping, right? Not at all.
Although they do give caution and you make you think about how to.
Sure. But like, is the KGB on my like case because like I'm helping women birth? I doubt it. Right? Like, and they're not gonna come chasing you there. That would be my take anyway. Who knows? But the other thing I'm thinking is like, this is a giant blessing that now that this partner organization is inept before you've given them your money, right? Like, or
we're not going to give money. We're going to give goods at this point, I think, because we've talked to another organization that brings military equipment across, and and money just it disappears. But if you actually dive in with the military equipment, you can deliver it to the people that need it. So
okay, yeah, that's probably smart. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't trust the thing. No. As
So
you're saying, deeply corrupt.
if we can find safe houses, if we can find beds and mattresses and sterilizing equipment and gas and air for pain and baby blankets and stuff, and just sort of find places who to partner with, you know.
And as Kimberly says too here in the chat, like just be completely honest with your donors about what's happening, what's going on, right? Like it's not your fault. It's like you're doing your best to make it happen, and shit happens.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay.
Well, good on you for doing that. It's amazing.
Yeah.
We want to help.
Totally, I get it.
It's a good fit for the theme kind of we had for today, or not exactly a theme, but coming in, we were talking about not judging yourself and daring to make mistakes, right? Like, not that this is a mistake, but like kind of daring to put it out there in the world and seeing what happens and going from there. So
I think, I mean, that's the thing that stops so many people in general, right? Is that like, what if something breaks, or what if like it doesn't look as like professional as it could. We had someone who was like, well, the photo that you sent out with this event was like, you know, the alignment was off and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, sure, right? But like Beth and I just like put that together in Canva, like in the moment, got that thing out, got the email out. Like, who gives a crap if you come to this event and you hear something that changes the trajectory of your life, and then you're like, well, yeah, but the alignment on that photo was a little out of whack. So, you know, like, I don't know if I can trust these people. Right? Like nobody gives a crap, right? Like, so it's really, and the other thing that I love to remember is that, like, nobody remembers anything. Everybody's so obsessed with themselves and their own lives. They don't remember anything about anything. And like, you know, we're all then like, some big celebrity goes and dies, and everybody talks about this person for a day, and literally the next day nobody remembers again, right? Like, it's like, just all right, they're gone. Like, people are busy. Don't worry about what anybody thinks about, you know, about any of that stuff. As long as you can live with yourself and you know that you're doing well and that your intentions are pure, that's all that matters.
Well, that's it. I mean, we just keep saying what we're here to do is help these new moms. That's right. What we're here to do. That's what our expertise is, and we will find a way somehow or other. I mean, we'll be true to our purpose, and you know, the doors will open. Of that, I'm convinced, because where there's a will, there's a way, and God helps people that help themselves get you know, good things done.
Your expertise is not in getting funds and equipment to Ukraine in a safe way, right? That's not your core skill. Yeah, figuring it out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do we have other questions, or Beth? Do we have some other?
That's all the questions that came in the chat. Although there are some folks that are here and not on video that might have questions. So now's a good moment. We've got a few minutes left. If there's people being quiet for whatever reason, that
had some other things that we discussed this morning that we were.
Yeah, the other thing we talked about this morning was kind of related. Just this idea of like building momentum and getting started, getting content out there, getting emails out there, getting whatever out there, being more important than the perfection of that or the mechanics of that. Like, it's which is, you know, the example you just gave, like, we could have been like, well, this image isn't really perfect, we don't have the right thing, let's wait a week, you know, and then we wouldn't be having this conversation now because we waited a week in order to get a designer to do something for us or whatever.
Right.
So
yeah, and maybe we would then go live and figure out like the whole premise was wrong and it shouldn't be called Unfiltered, it should be something else entirely, or like any of those things, right? So it's like let's just roll with I'm obsessed with momentum. I'm obsessed with speed. I really believe, back to what you were talking about, Kimberly, with soul. I really believe that when we get the inspiration, it's some entity outside of ourselves that are coming in and plugging into our system. And if we respond and pick it up and run with it and do something, like, we get inspired to help, you know, pregnant women in Ukraine, and we either act on it and do something, or we don't. If we don't, that entity, that spirit moves on to someone else who's willing to receive it and birth it, right? Back to birthing. But and so I think that like being willing to just run with it and execute and you know, have speed while it's there, while it's fresh, is so important. Because then like you put it on a schedule, and then like, yeah, we'll schedule a Zoom meeting in like 3 days or next week, and then like by that time the energy is gone, and now it just becomes a to-do, a chore. But like, and then like if you do that and you recognize that like, well, the energy's not there, having the courage to just say no. Like, yes, it seemed like a good idea, but the energy's not there. Like, let's drop it. And if it comes back, we can do it again. But you know, not letting that happen in the first place by just running with it while it's there, and then you're gonna make mistakes and you're gonna mess up on some things, but it's so much better. And I had in business as well, I find, especially when it comes to like when you want to do stuff where you need some resource, like I need a graphic designer for this, or I need, you know, a coder who can do this, or I need whatever kind of resource you need. I'm always a fan of, if you can at all, hire 3 at the same time, even if you just need 1, right? Like I literally last week hired 3 product design teams to start on the same day, because they're not all going to work out. And sure enough, like a week in, one of them was like, this is not for us. Like the pace with which you work is way too fast. There's way too much iteration, way too much collaboration. We're used to just having like 40, 50 hours a week, and we're just like we need like to fill that like quota, that budget. I'm like, yeah, that's not what I need. Sorry. Like it's my job to make sure that you can bill me 40, 50 hours a week. That's not how we work around here. And so that's great. But the other 2 are sticking and doing great work, right? So same thing, like on Monday, I hired 2 engineers. One of them, like, again, he wasn't up to the pace that we want to work with, and he opted out. That's great. Like, it's totally cool, right? So it's like having, you know, moving quickly, over hiring, over like, you know, you need some design project done, like hire 3 people to do it at the same time. And you know, then you have a point of comparison, rather than what I used to do was, then I'd get something back and I'd be like, it's not quite there. And then you'd like try to work with this person to get it there. And then it's never really quite gets there. And then like and then you either live with it, but don't love it. You kind of resent it a little bit, and resent yourself for doing it maybe. Or you then go contract another person to do it over, but now it just set you back a month, right? Of going back and forth and iterating and having like, no, just get them right from the get-go. Yeah,
it's totally true. Like as you're talking, I can hear like I've done that before. Absolutely done that when like getting our logo design, for example. But I also want to notice we've only got 10 minutes, and Tazi or Tazi, I don't know how you say your name. I've never met you, but has a question that it'd be great if we could bring them up. And the question, I'll read them while you're doing that. One of them is, what do you do to get content out when it's like pulling teeth to do it? Looking for strategies. I need to warm up my list and have so far gotten only 1 email out. I'm stuck in the details and driving myself up the wall. So yeah, tell us more.
Yeah, so it's Tazi. Well,
Tazi.
my real name is Gunanita. I'm Norwegian, and nobody in the US can pronounce my name. So Tazi is sort of a nickname, and apparently I have a bit of a temper, so it's very fitting. But anyway, so I've been at this trying to get an online business up and running since 2015. I've launched 2 courses, and I think I'm basically just too busy with, like, we have 12 dogs in the house. We run a business every day. We do dog training for police and military. So it's just super, super busy. And I keep thinking I really want my online business up and going. And then I make a stab at it every once in a while. And then it's sort of, I get bogged down with all kinds of other things.
What happens
now,
when you sit down to try to create content, like what does it look like? What are you doing? What are you trying to do? And what's going on?
So my latest thought was, instead of only sending emails when I'm trying to launch a course, I wanted to warm up my list and possibly start selling to my list just the list. So I thought, every day when I'm out with the dogs, which is, I walk dogs, and I'm not kidding you, like 7 hours a day. So every day when I'm out with dogs, I have a lot of time to think, and I keep thinking like, stuff I do with my own dogs every day is like stuff I should share with my list. And then I never get that down on paper when I'm out, and then when I'm back in, it's sort of gone. So the first email I did send to the list was sort of
do you have your phone on you when you walk? Can you just like whip up the camera and show us and talk about it?
yeah, I guess I could.
Would that be okay? Would you be comfortable doing that?
What? I'm not sure I understood. What, show you the dogs, or
No, as you're out walking the dogs for 7 hours, have this like, hey, I'm doing this thing right now. Like, just bring out your phone and like talk about it and show it, like record it on your phone right there in a video format. Would that feel okay to you to do?
Oh, I've never thought of that. Yeah, it would. Yeah, that might be. Oh my
Totally
God.
do
Yeah,
that. 100%.
that might be a
Here's the
really
thing.
good idea.
I saw this from Frank Kern like a month ago or something. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he said this thing that really, I was like, huh. He says, email is no longer for nurture. Like, we talk about email as like email nurture sequences, all that stuff. He's like, no, like nobody reads email for like the content. The email is just to drive people to an offer to sell them stuff. And I'm not saying that I necessarily agree, but it was a complete paradigm shift for me. What social media is for nurture, right? So if you post on social media, and like, I don't have personal experience to validate this, but Gary Vaynerchuk keeps saying that the only two places in the world on social media that you get organic reach, meaning if you post something, it will actually get seen by people. The only two places are TikTok and LinkedIn. Every other platform, you post it, nobody's going to see it. You have to spend money to get people to watch your stuff on all the other platforms. And that's a good idea to do. But so what I would do is just every time you're out walking your dogs, like record and post to TikTok. Like just show it, post to TikTok, like 4 a day, and just like do that. And then once you have that cadence going, like it might not take very long, like a day or two, then we can talk about getting someone to edit the videos and like do some of the captions and the fancy stuff and all that stuff, which is worth doing and not terribly complicated at all. But the important thing is just to get it going, because I think, yeah, forget the email, forget the writing, like shoot some videos. You're out there all day anyway, like make content.
Yeah, and I've been thinking too, like when I'm out there are certain like tiny variations in the dog's behavior that I would really like for people to see. And writing about it is just going to take a whole lot of explaining, and then you have to write it in a fashion that isn't too technical and gets really boring and people fall off.
It's much better to see it.
Yeah,
totally do that.
I'm not even on TikTok, people.
No.
That's me.
Yeah.
Even if it's only 30 seconds of like, hey, I just did this thing, let me show you.
Right.
Like, enough. Great. Good.
Yeah. And the reason why TikTok is the way their algorithm works is that like the other platforms will show the content to your followers, maybe. Right? Sometimes Instagram with Reels will show it outside your follower base, but TikTok does that aggressively. So TikTok is not so much about followers, it's about content. So they show your stuff, even if you have 0 followers, they'll show it to a bunch of people. And then if it gets traction with those, it'll show them to a lot more. So you can post one thing that all of a sudden gets hundreds and thousands of views. Like, so it's just a numbers game. It's just a volume game. Keep posting a lot, and like some of it's going to hit, and you're going to see what hits. Literally yesterday I posted a video on my TikTok of like how I had taken this, a pack of blueberries out of my fridge and I dropped it on the floor and there were blueberries all over. And I just like shot a 15-second video about that. It's gotten like more views than anything else I've done on my TikTok, which is silly, but you never know, right? So allow yourself to go a little silly and do stupid stuff as well. Like that works, or like not stupid necessarily, but silly. Just let it loose a little bit.
Right.
It'll work.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So step one, get on TikTok, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right. And embrace the video format, right? Because like you're out there, and yeah, that's powerful.
Cool. Thank you.
You bet. Yeah.
Thanks for asking. Yeah.
Great question.
It is a great question. And it's so common. Like that question you asked, which everybody here can identify with in some way of like, yeah, it's.
And that's the thing, right? That's what's so beautiful about this. Like, and I love, and you can do that too, possibly. Like personally, I love the Q&A format because I don't have to come up with content, right? I just have to be me and answer questions and like your questions bring stuff out of me that I might not even know is in there. Like I'm just downloading it as it's happening, and it's so easy and so fun. And I know that whatever content I'm producing is valuable to you because you asked the question, right? So I don't have to guess at what you want to hear. So I love that format, and I'll tell you guys. So this is what the strategy is behind this. So we're gonna do this every single week. It's gonna be recorded live with you guys, whoever shows up live as we do it. We might bring it on a guest every once in a while or more. We'll figure out the format as we go along. But the idea is that during this call, we start to get to know each other and build like community, and as well as we get the content, right? We get the video out of it, and then we're going to take that and chop it up into 60-second clips or 3-minute clips or whatever, and post them on, you guessed, on TikTok, right? And we're going to post them on Instagram, or we're going to post them on all of the platforms and put some ad spend behind it. But that's the strategy of like, that's how you get like people. It's going to go in the podcast, it's going to go on YouTube and that kind of stuff. But like people don't. Nobody's going to discover a podcast because it's in the Apple podcast directory. That's not how that works. Nobody's going to discover the thing because it's on YouTube. The only way they're going to discover it is you take those small bits and pieces and then you put them all over social media, and then you put some money, some ad spend behind it to get it in front of the people that you want to reach, right? That's how it works, and that's how you get the people. That's how you build your audience. Beth looks like
Beth wants to say something. Beth wants to just let everybody know that we're not going to post your vulnerable questions on TikTok without your permission.
Yeah.
That's not the idea.
This is about like, showing us, but like, and we might send you a clip. That's great. I'm so glad you brought that up. But we might run a clip by you and say, hey, would you be okay with us posting that? But we're not going to post you. And you're like
Calvin's responses, Calvin's reflections, Calvin's insights. Yeah. And maybe me if I say something smart every once in a while. We'll see.
Oh, stuff. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I love that you clarified that. Thank you. So Laura's asking when you put money. Yeah, so it means so usually asking if putting money means boosting or actual ads. I think the difference between boosting and actual ads is it's the same thing. It's only like when you do a proper ad, it allows you to have more control over, audience and things of that nature. So I think, like, I'm not an expert on this, but I would say do the real ads always, and just get familiar with that. But boosting works as well. But that's what I mean. Yeah. So pay the money to get your content out in front of people, right? It's like in the old days, I remember my mom had a software company and they did brochures. And so they would print these brochures and then send them out to people. And this is a way, like, you create content and you can literally get in front of the very people that you want to you reach and have an impact on this way. And it's very, very cheap to do posts, to do ads that are just about getting the content out there. It's very cheap compared to, trying to make sales. So we're going all in on that, like, brand building, where we're just about delivering value, just about building that relationship with people, and not ever, like, not even mentioning Simplero, not even mentioning that there's anything to buy. It's just about building that goodwill, giving that value to people, and then trusting that, like, everything's going to work out. And in the meantime, it's really fun and just enjoyable process. So, like, even if nothing ever comes back, just from doing this with you guys, it's already come back tenfold, right? Like, it's just such a joy to have this experience with all of you. So that's the strategy, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
It's time.
Yes. So next week, same time, same place. And we will, I see your message, Kimberly. I haven't read it yet, but I will. I'm gonna grab it over here just so I make sure that I have it. I'll follow up after. How about that?
Yeah.
Cool.
And thanks, Heather, for mentioning your experience too. I know you've been back there with kids. So thanks for everybody who was here, even if we couldn't see your face, but especially it's great to see your faces. So thanks to those of you who did that. It's nice.
Yes. All right. Awesome. You guys are freaking rock stars. Some of you literally almost pop stars, rock stars, and just amazing. And, like, this is the beginning of something, like, new and very, very important to me personally, to the company, like, very dear to my heart. This is something that I've been wanting to do forever. Like, I don't know how many of you guys are following Gary Vaynerchuk, but I like, he's a huge inspiration in this, because he's so good at doing that, of, like, I'll type his name here. Yeah, Gary Vaynerchuk. So he teaches about, he has lots of companies. He lives right over there in Manhattan. VaynerMedia is this agency. He started, his dad did Wine Library, which is an online wine retailer, and that's kind of his first claim to fame. But he's a very serious and very good business guy, but he's also doing this kind of model of just sharing very value-driven brand building content in public. And I started following him in 2008. I actually had a private dinner with him on the Upper East Side of Manhattan in 2010. So I've known this guy for a long time, and he's been preaching this for all these years, and I just wasn't ready. Right? I wasn't ready. And so now we're launching this, and I'm so excited that I got to do this with you guys on the very first of these shows. So thanks, everyone. And I'll see you guys hopefully next week and the week after that.
Yes.
And on and on. Bye, everyone.
Awesome. Bye, everybody.